in Sutherland Springs, Texas on Sunday. The lone suspect, also wearing a ballistic vest and carrying a rifle, fired into the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs and kept shooting after he went inside. Sutherland Springs is about 40 miles east of San Antonio. Law enforcement officials told a news conference the victims ranged in age from 5 years to 72 years old, including the 14-year-old daughter of Pastor Frank Pomeroy. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Amid the catastrophic economic crisis spurred by Tuesday's release of This Christmas, the new holiday-themed album by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, economic experts told reporters today the Christmas CD has quickly plunged the nation into a double-dip recession.
When investors learned that one-time screen couple John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John had reunited after 35 years for an album of timeless Christmas classics, investors had no choice but to pull money from markets immediately. We were already on shaky ground with the collapse of the U.S. subprime mortgage market and the reversal financial crisis in Europe, but consumer confidence plummeted after Americans saw the new album with a picture of Travolta and Olivia Newton-John holding cups of hot cocoa. We believe that when other countries find out the album features a Christmas song that pays tribute to summer nights, we could be looking at a global contagion. This is the blackest day on Wall Street in 2 decades.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and of course you can bring up anything that you want. Just dial in toll free to join us here at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. Skype username here is lrn.fm. And the studio hosts are a little bit different here tonight. It's Melanie and I. Hey, Melanie.
Hey.
As normal on Monday nights, but Mark has morphed into a much more beautiful version. Hey, Michele.
Hi, Ian.
You're back.
I'm back.
But
in the saddle again.
For how long? We don't know. But at the very least, we have you for one night, which is nice. Michele 7, for listeners who are new to the show. It's been a while since you've been on the air on Free Talk Live. I think we had you on from some Bitcoin conferences over the last few years, right?
Yes, and also when I was at Occupy Wall Street.
Well, that would have been before you left New Hampshire, right?
I guess it was. Oh, right. It was right before.
You left New Hampshire in what, 2013, I'm thinking?
I think it was 2012.
That long ago?
Yeah.
No, it couldn't have been. You were here. Weren't you here for the Derek J's premiere? Weren't you here for that?
I think I came up for it.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
it has been that long.
It's been a long time.
Half a decade.
Yeah.
Michele 7 was a regular co-host here on Free Talk Live. You were an early...
Not a normal co-host, but a regular one.
Right. Meaning you were on regularly, like once a week, typically. And you were an early mover for the Free State Project.
Yes.
You lived here for a while. You were backing us up on a lot of the activism that happened here. You got into some situations yourself, and then you took off. And you kind of hit the road for a while.
I did. Well, I have 3 kids.
Yeah,
and
they're all grown up now, right?
Yes, they were all teenagers when I came. And,
right, they were all living with you when you moved, and then slowly they moved out.
And so I moved down to New Jersey because I guess I hadn't felt like I'd punished myself enough in my life.
You went to the 46th least free state from the number 1 most free state.
Right. And I continued where I got arrested there as well. And
did you really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I did get my one of 3 of my convictions appealed in a court, and they just spanked the judge really bad. But then 3 days later, I got cited for the exact same things and had to go to court.
Do you
want to
talk about it? What was the arrest for?
I actually called in. Like, I talked to you guys way back then.
Refresh my memory. And for those who didn't listen back then, because we always have new listeners.
Yeah. So I've done...
people are hearing you for the first time, some of them tonight.
Hello, people who are hearing me for the first time. So when I was here in New Hampshire, what I got in trouble for, went to jail for, was failure to register my vehicles. And I did have insurance and was always licensed, but I didn't register my truck or my boat or my cars, and motorcycle, and ended up getting picked up for those kinds of things. But of course, it wasn't until I kind of not instigated things, but I was confrontational with the police officer who was just, he's the one that lisps, you know which one I'm talking about.
I don't know offhand.
Yeah, he talks like this. And he can't say his R's. That's it. He can't say his R's. But anyway.
That's a New England thing, though, right? They can't say R's.
I think he just lisps.
Ka.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I had I went ahead and I registered my vehicles through another option that I discovered was available to people. And when I moved to New Jersey, thought, oh, I'm in the clear. I'm no longer doing activism for tax resisting. I'm no longer doing activism for this or that. And I just took a picture of a cop.
Oh yeah, no, you can't do that.
But
Not in Jersey.
He was in the middle of the road blocking traffic, and yeah.
Did you like get out of your car and take a picture of him, or how did you take a picture of him?
I was stopped because the traffic, he literally was in the way of traffic on this really small street. So it was very easy for me to just snap a picture of him.
Yeah.
And he claimed, he saw me do it, and he claimed that I was operating my vehicle while using a cell phone device. And then it became, I didn't have the proper registration because my card to register my vehicle was a 4x6, not an 8x12 or whatever, something silly. And so that was.
So did you what was the punishment for that? You got convicted?
Got convicted, and I appealed it, and it took like 2 years to finally get an appeal.
Did you hire an attorney for the
appeal?
appeal?
No, I did it all myself.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And the judge in the Supreme Court was horrified that the person who showed up to defend the state, he wasn't prepared, and he was laughing at me and saying how silly this all was, and he was being really snide, and the judge just hammered him. It was great, and said that the judge had completely abused me and was rude and was an embarrassment. And Judge Himmel, and same Himmelman, I think. And same judge who had been rude was rude to me 3 days later.
Surprise.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
You remind me of Judge Burke, actually.
Judge Burke and I get along pretty well now.
Really?
Yeah, I saw him the other day at the Vietnamese food truck. He was buying some dinner for presumably him and his wife or something.
Was he paying
like that.
for it in Bitcoin?
I meant to ask him that. But I didn't. I should have had that conversation with him. But I did get up and say hello to him. And every time I see him on the streets, he is super nice. Like, he is just the nicest guy.
Well, they're trying not to, get attacked.
They don't want to get
when
killed.
They're walking. They don't have that security when they're walking
No, they
around,
don't.
standing in line in Walmart. At court, they have special parking.
Right.
In a lot of cases, they have parking underground. They have security. They're allowed to bring a gun in the courtroom.
He used to have,
but
back when Michele was here. When the Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree days were happening, the court used to be in the city hall. So the court building that we have now in Keene is new. That was built in like 2013 or 2012 or something like that, probably right around the time when you were leaving. So they have like a fancy real courthouse now with what you're talking about with the restricted parking and everything. But it used to be that Judge Burke would just have to park with everybody else in the city lot, and he'd have to actually walk in through the back door, which anybody else could walk in, and so you could stand
terrible.
there. Right, he'd have to walk by, us normals or whatever when he would come in, and so that's one of the scenes in Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree is Judge Burke walks in the back door, and a damo is down there, and he wants to talk to the judge. He wants to ask him some questions about Pete and Bo, who I believe were arrested for wearing hats in court, or maybe it was one or the other, but one of them was arrested for that. And he had some questions about that, and he just starts asking the judge questions as he's going up the stairs because he can't get in any way. There's no other way for him to get into the courtroom, and that's when the judge had him arrested and charged with like felony improper influence on a judge. Ultimately, the charges were dropped, but he spent several days in jail, just kind of on a
there were a lot of us going to jail at the time. Pete and Ademo were staying with me out in Dublin when we came for when Pete had we'd all gone to court for something. I think it was for you, and that's when Pete was wearing his hat and he got arrested.
Could be.
Yeah, and then Adamo and I went back a few days later to see his for his arraignment or whatever, and they had him on camera. And do you remember how much I used to be able to get away with? Like, I was passing out pancakes to people.
Pancakes?
Yeah, I gave pancakes because it was really early. And remember, they let me go up in the front and film, and
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, so I got
I got
this really special treatment for some reason, and
we get special treatment for a very well-known reason.
Because you're a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Meg didn't get the same.
No.
No, she didn't.
So the toll-free number here, by the way, we are doing a talk show. We've got stuff that we can talk about here tonight, but it's fun to catch up.
Yes.
And for listeners that don't know you, they can get to know you a little bit. And for listeners that do know who you are, I'm sure they're elated or maybe angry. Maybe some of them don't like you. I don't know.
I hope the ones that don't like me call.
Well, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So you left New Hampshire. You kind of became Bitcoin Belle for a while after that. That was your next... It seemed like your next project.
Yes, that was my next project.
Where you kind of made the rounds to all the different Bitcoin conventions, and you had a Twitter account. And
until Twitter suspended it indefinitely.
Oh, my. You must have been doing something right then.
Thank you. You're the first person to say that. I appreciate that, Ian.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So coming up, we can talk about a lot of stuff. Apparently, people are now eating their own pets in Venezuela. There's more on the way here. This is Free Talk Live.
Called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Within 2 weeks, the shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days, and Sundance's coat was starting to get shiny and glossy.
It's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He is not in pain.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching,
do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. So Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. And Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash. It is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low and transactions are quick and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar with Dash, unlike Bitcoin, which today I actually... Normally, I'm like a pretty big Bitcoin advocate, but it's getting harder and harder to advocate Bitcoin when I went to buy a $2.50 iced tea at a local bar that accepts Bitcoin here today. The fee to purchase that iced tea was going to cost me $3.48 worth of Bitcoin. So it just doesn't make sense. But Dash doesn't have that problem. Dash is decentralized. It's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org to find out why. It's Ian, Melanie, and Michele 7 in the studio here tonight. Let's go to Steve. He's in New Hampshire. Steve, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Good evening. How are you?
Hey, great. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I had a lot of questions, and I was hoping that you guys could maybe answer some of them.
We can try.
I recently moved to New Hampshire, and I moved. I was interested in this free state movement where they claim there was more liberty here than any other state, and I heard you guys talking about that tonight, so I thought I'd call in. Things I've experienced here in New Hampshire really would indicate that this is the least free state in the nation. I moved from Michigan, and there, you know, I didn't like a lot of the bureaucracy stuff of having to have auto insurance, things like that. And, you know, I heard that here you don't have to have it.
No, but it's still a good idea to have it. I mean,
and it's a lot cheaper than the states where you do have to have it. Mine went from 70 to 20. So
yeah, mine went down significantly from Florida to here.
Well, here's the thing, though. In Michigan, my auto insurance was going to be around $700 a year for what they call PL&PD, which would be 2040, which would cover, I believe it was 20,000 to 40,000 on liabilities. But anyways, that $700 a year that I was mandatory to pay went towards a cause. You know, if I got in an accident, I was covered. And what I've seen here is we bought some cars at an auction. One of them was an expensive Jeep. There was nothing wrong with the thing. We took it in to get it inspected with a Cadillac that we bought, which had an engine light, which was just an EVAP code. And this crooked-ass repair shop, which is pretty well known around this part, the manager told me that I needed a $100 repair on the Cadillac, and the whole rear end had to be dropped.
Oh, no.
Well, I took that information and went to someone that was a mechanic that was a friend. And even though this repair guy was saying it would take 7 or 6 hours or something to do it, this guy fixed the thing in like 10 minutes and told me that the repair guy was lying.
So, let me see if I'm following you here. You're saying because you found a dishonest business person, that means that New Hampshire is less free?
Well, what I'm getting at here, okay, if you let me finish, there was this repair that was projected to cost $700, which I got done a lot cheaper.
Okay.
All in all, both vehicles, they charged me over $1,000 to fix them. They fixed things that weren't required.
Hold on. Let me see if I'm following what you're saying here. You're saying the person who was more honest fixed things that weren't required, or the person who was not honest fixed them?
I ended up getting things fixed at that shop because I got suckered into paying the inspection fee, and it's like either pay that and lose that money or let them fix it.
Okay.
They had quoted me like $750 on the two vehicles to fix.
Okay. Are you
tires.
driving at? We don't need to get all the details, but are you driving at the idea that New Hampshire has inspections and that's a bad thing? Because if so, I agree with you. I mean, New Hampshire isn't perfect.
Well, yeah, it's a bad thing because they rip you off. They're dishonest because they know that you have to get the inspections.
That's true.
But what I'm getting at
unless, of course, you have your car registered in another state.
Double. Or let me finish. I paid almost double by the time it was over with to get these damn inspections done just so I could drive for
That's frustrating.
5 months.
Inspections suck, no doubt about it. No doubt.
Yeah, and see, if I was in Michigan, I keep insurance, and I'm.
So why don't you go back? I mean, it sounds like maybe you're really bothered by this. I mean, the fact that New Hampshire overall is the #1 most free state, according to the Freedom in the 50 States study that came out this year, and it's been in the top 4 since then. Michigan is ranked at number 24.
Another question.
Well, no, hold on one moment here. We can respond to what you've said first.
Can
Go ahead,
I ask
Michele.
a question? Yeah. So where were you in Michigan?
I was in Coldwater, Michigan, down by the Indiana-Ohio borders.
So not near Flint?
No, not near Flint.
Where they have a major water crisis.
Yeah, they've got a water crisis there.
And not in Detroit, where the state has stopped providing emergency and utility provisions for people who are no longer paying
No, I didn't live there.
Our
our city was actually pretty clean and not a big drug habit, unlike New Hampshire, the drug capital of the United States when it comes to heroin.
I'm curious as to where I'm pretty confident in my analysis or my opinion of Flint and Detroit. I have never heard that New Hampshire is the highest per capita in heroin drug users.
I've heard that it's up there. I don't know if it's #1, but it's definitely it's up there.
Even your president, Donald Trump,
he's not my president.
To it as a drug den.
He's not my president.
Donald Trump gets on Twitter and says things like that. Unless you have an actual stat.
Can we get back on track? I have a couple more
what is it about New
you.
Hampshire that you say is so unfree? I mean, so far you've given us
sounds like you just want to be argumentative.
Car inspections. Okay, I agree with you. Car inspections are bad.
If you'll let me.
Well, we don't have all night. We don't have all night, so go ahead.
Well, then let me finish, and we'll go through this. Okay. So
you're not going to finish. You're just going to have to get to your next point.
For these inspections and these repairs that weren't necessary.
Yeah.
On top of that, you've got the sales taxes of 9%.
Sorry, bro. You're talking about the food tax.
Go to like
you're talking about the food. You're talking. Right.
And that's restaurants, not food. So if you go to the grocery store, there's no sales tax.
Yeah, you're talking about the prepared. You're talking about the prepared.
But everybody on the internet doesn't know what you mean, so we had to clarify.
So we got to clarify when you misstate things, and it is a misstatement to claim there's a sales tax in New Hampshire. There's a prepared foods tax.
Did
you think for a moment, Steve? Just hold on before you go on here, because you just keep on going.
Do they not have sales tax on food in Michigan? I doubt that.
It may be lower. I mean, 9% is a pretty high food tax. Even Massachusetts doesn't have as high of a an eating out tax. I think it's only 5% in Massachusetts.
Tennessee, I believe, is 10% service tax.
Yeah, so we're going to continue here in moments.
Don't eat out.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I guess I do want to hear what other complaints Steve has, because certainly New Hampshire isn't perfect. I mean, what did this guy think? That there were no taxes whatsoever? That the government didn't exist here? That this wasn't a project? That the idea of ending the state was just going to be something you could snap your fingers?
I'm curious as to what he's brought in terms of freedom to this place.
Good question. Free Talk Live. More coming up.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Free Talk Live.
Yeah, this would work if there was no government and everything worked the right way.
Communism requires central control. There's evidence that the free market works. The marketplace is what has created all of the wondrous things that we have and take for granted in this world. The marketplace is what brings us air conditioning, grocery stores, the internet, all the things that you enjoy, your cell phone, all the things you take for granted. That's not as a result of government. Government slows down and impedes the market. Government restricts freedom and it restricts the marketplace. So, there's evidence that the freer a market is. Look at the computer industry, for instance. The more free and the less regulated a market is, the better the innovation, the better the competition, the better the prices, and the better the quality of the products and the services. I mean, we've got evidence to prove that our economic model is sound.
And look at all the wealthy people that the computer industry has created.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us on the radio if you want and take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that's on your mind. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Michelle.
So you can take control of the airwaves online over at freetalklive.com in a way by creating the content that you'll find right there on the front page of the website. It is a Reddit-based front page, so you can submit different items to the page, and then other listeners can vote whether they like or dislike what it is that you've submitted. So head on over there and get interactive over at freetalklive.com. And like the rest of the site, it is completely free. So we're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts here. We got Steve on the line in New Hampshire. He sounds like he is a little butthurt over some of the things that he's encountered here in New Hampshire. It turns out that New Hampshire isn't a completely freedom-oriented place. There's still a state government here, and guess what? That state government does what other state governments do, which is, taxes and regulates and controls and jails and charges and courts and all of that crap that we want to see changed. We want to. The reason why Melanie and I we've moved here, Michele, you did at one time. You've moved away, but it wasn't necessarily because you thought there was no freedom in New Hampshire. You had your own journey that you were on.
I have not lived in a place longer than 2 years ever in my entire life.
You're one of those floaters, huh?
I'm
a butterfly. Just
I'm a butterfly.
Flitting about on the winds.
The world's a big place, and I like to spread my germs everywhere.
But every now and then you'll hear somebody like Steve who's got a real
disgruntled.
Real upset or whatever. And I just, I don't understand it, Steve. You said you had more you wanted to share, so I wanted to hear what it was. But Michele, you had something.
Can I interrupt you?
Yep.
Ladies first here. So you did make a point of saying that this is the Free State Project. And that from 2004 when I first started hearing about this, in 2006 when I voted, in 2010 when I moved here, it was really clear to me that a project meant that I was going to be actively involved.
Yeah, sure.
And I was a single mom. I had 3 kids. I still have 3 kids, but I was homeschooling. Like, I was busy and I was still involved. So it's really about what you bring here. And that's what, Steve, I would love to hear what special talents or skills or activism you've brought from Michigan, your home state, here to New Hampshire.
Okay. Well, on that point right there, I guess we should go to PorkFest. Okay. I visited PorkFest shortly after coming to the free state, quote unquote.
No, it's not a free state. It's New Hampshire. You're talking about the Free State Project, which is a different thing.
Very disappointing to me with the PorkFest was one, it was like $180 for 2 people to go. And I didn't think the speakers were really very well informed about, the reality of what's going on in the world. There was one lady they were talking about riots or something, and the guy said, well, there was these riots, I guess Ferguson riots or something they were talking about. And she asked if they were paid to riot, and the guy didn't have a clue. He goes, I don't think so. I'm not sure. But everybody knows that George Soros is funding all that, and there were other things, it's just...
So you didn't like a camping festival that somebody put together because the speakers you disagreed with. That didn't answer Michelle's question in any way, shape, or form, Steve.
I didn't disagree with. I just thought that they weren't very educated to be...
What special skills or talents?
Apparently it's whining, Michele. Yeah. I think that's his talent.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of PorkFest either.
Me neither.
But that really has nothing to do... PorkFest has absolutely zero to do...
I haven't been in 2 years.
...either living in New Hampshire or with the New Hampshire government.
Right. It's one festival that somebody throws that some people attend.
And I'm sure that the state of New Hampshire isn't any more of a fan of PorkFest than I am, so that isn't really a complaint about New Hampshire.
Keep going if you'd like.
Well, you still haven't answered Michelle's question. No, I don't want to keep going through your laundry list of the things you're complaining about. Okay, I'd like to have you answer Michelle's question, if you can.
Okay. Go ahead.
What special skills, talents, or activism have you brought from Michigan here to New Hampshire so that you can participate in the project and you can be a participant?
Okay, and why would I want to be a participant in a project here? I might have liked to had I not noticed all these faulty things that you guys claim with your free state stuff.
So you're just a whining, sniveling beta, you say you're married. Do you get an erection? How can you be? You're not even a man.
Thanks for the call,
Steve. I also want to point out that you're calling Free Talk Live to complain about the Free State Project, which is really weird. That's like calling Israel to complain about Palestine. Okay.
Okay, so this guy has called, I think, with different names, and he called previously because he had some kind of business with redneck gear or something that he started up there, and he was complaining, of course, because somebody else was in town who was doing the same thing before he was, and I guess they didn't like it very much, so he claims somebody pushed him at a fireworks show because they were the competition or whatever. And so, I mean, it's just constant complaining from this guy, because he'd also called and complained about PorkFest previously. He didn't seem to really understand what the Free State Project was. I think he's just sort of...
He's a troll, and he's not even a good one.
Some really horrible advertising about getting people to sign without actually telling them what it is. And
I don't think he's a signer. I don't think this guy was... I already disconnected the call. But
He's also not a participant. He's like, why would I want to be a participant in a project that I haven't, it's like, well, if you didn't vet things out before, that's on you, buddy.
For sure.
But
yeah, I just moved across the country because somebody told me to, without any investigation whatsoever.
Somebody told me it was a free state, and it turns out it's not.
I believed that there was just an anarchist state, which doesn't even make any sense. And then I found out they had car registration, so I'm done.
Yeah.
He needs to listen to some Jordan Peterson YouTube videos and learn how to, some personal responsibility and how to be a man. Man up, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can understand people getting, mixed message or not understanding what's really happening here, and he's never really sounded crystal clear on what this this movement is. For those that don't know, and I'm not a Free State Project participant. I resigned from the Free State Project 2 years ago at this point, or a year and a half ago. And that was over some other controversy. But regardless, the Free State Project is part of a larger New Hampshire freedom migration of people who care about liberty and who want to move all into the same place, which is already a freer place than where he's from, Michigan, by the way.
So even if car registration, and he was talking about having 2 and 3 cars, even if car registration was $1,000 a car, okay, so then take out income tax, take out sales tax, take out all this other BS you're going to pay in any other state. Yes, it's still theft, but if you're going to talk about which one is worse...
Right, the overall tax burden in New Hampshire is lower than other states. It's just a fact, because the government here isn't as large as other states. There's still a government, though. I mean, it'd be great if, there wasn't, but there is. And, one of the things we're working towards is trying to reduce the size and the scope and the impact and the expense of that government. But that's a long, brutal process. He talked about the car inspections. Well, there have been legislators who have proposed either eliminating the car inspections entirely or making them once every 2 years instead of once a year. And so there are, proposals in the works to try to change these things. But you don't get there by whining about it. You don't get there by complaining about it. You get there by contacting the, the radio or the local state representatives in your area and talking to them and trying to convince them about this particular issue. Or you get around it by not registering your cars in New Hampshire in the first place. Keep it registered in Michigan or something like that.
There were 2 factions kind of that had emerged in 2010 when I came. I think it started happening shortly before, because Bitcoin became that was something that was brought to us early 2011.
Right.
And so the idea of having peer-to-peer money that did not involve the state was like a huge boost to the idea of agorism. So the Free State Project initially, from what I recall, was people, like Ron Paul sort of supporter people who would come here and there was going to be the ratio of population to legislators. We were going to be able to vote our way more freedom. And then agorists were going to also do parallel freedom activism within
agorism's like sort of like the underground economy, basically. People just kind of doing their own
a real
thing
free market
without asking permission. So there's a lot that's happening here in New Hampshire. Again, according to the Freedom in the 50 States, go to freedomin50states.org. You can see the numbers. They've crunched the numbers, and there's a lot of numbers there. I mean, New Hampshire's number 1, Michigan number 24. Sorry.
Oops.
More coming up here.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, I would recommend Dynovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply, or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now, earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you you can go this way?
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You
ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype here. Skype username is lrn.fm. With you in the studio, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Michelle.
So you can talk about anything that you want. We're going to go right back into your calls and thoughts. But I
might be mean to you, though.
Well, I mean, that guy just didn't stop whining, and he just didn't stop talking either, so it was hard to even have a conversation with him. But he's not the first person who's moved to New Hampshire with misunderstandings about what was going on here. I remember years ago there was a couple that moved up here who were expecting that we, in the Keene area, because that's where they moved to, that we were going to have a job and a house waiting for them when they got here. And they thought that free state meant they were going to get everything for free.
No way.
Yeah, that's really what they thought. They came up here. They left a message on Perk 411, which is this messaging voicemail system. I left a message on it today, actually, to let people know that we were going to have a guest in town. I didn't say who, but because I wasn't sure if you wanted that known.
Thank you.
But I left a message there, and the message gets blasted out to maybe a few hundred recipients around the state. And that way people can kind of know what's going on. It's a way to contact and reach people without, Facebook or something like that. In fact, it predates Facebook. It's been here for like a decade. And this guy calls up Pork 411 to complain about the fact that he did not have a job waiting for him, and that there was not somebody to give him a free house to stay in.
Was he mentally ill? I mean,
Yes, he's definitely mentally ill.
Yeah.
He actually has threatened violence against the Keene activists in the past. He's threatened to shoot us with a Mosin Nagant, and he sits in his. He's got a diaper fetish, and sits in his. Yeah. He's got a YouTube channel, so it's not like I'm outing somebody who's not public. But
I can't. I just.
Yeah. But so they really did think that free state meant free things. That
See, at one point they were paying people to get signers, so people were kind of saying whatever they had to say to get the $20.
I don't know how he found out about it, but anyway, I think they're still up here living in a welfare house or something like that.
Oh my!
So it's not uncommon.
So they are living for free in a way.
Supposedly. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We got Jim. He's in Concord, New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Jim.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Jim. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I just wanted to talk about how your people with the Free State Project.
Aren't you the same guy who just called in?
Negative about the Free State movement.
Didn't you just call in?
Okay, so the Free State Project banned Free Talk Live, so your argument is completely incoherent.
Well, I just wanted to mention that because you're talking and trying to support the Free State Project.
No, actually, you can't. Apparently, you can't even listen. So we don't support the Free State Project. I said I resigned from the Free State Project. I support the idea of libertarians and voluntarists moving to New Hampshire, hopefully ones that aren't whiny, the moving to New Hampshire and actually like doing things rather than complaining. But let me tell you, there's plenty of them like Jim or Steve or whatever his name is. There are plenty of people who just love to complain. They love to find somebody's activism that they don't like and complain about it. Michelle, you had your share of haters. I've certainly had my share of mine. Anybody that gets out there and puts themselves out there and takes a risk and does something publicly to try to achieve more freedom in our lifetime, they're going to have a bunch of critics, people who either hate them because they had the guts to do what they didn't have to do
Jealousy
themselves.
and envy.
Yeah, absolutely. And
laziness. I mean, this guy here that's on the phone sounds like an incredibly lazy POS. I'm searching for words that I'm allowed to say.
Well, right, because it's always easier to complain about other people than do something on your own, than try to actually, influence.
Easier is not better.
Indeed. And so, anyway, Jim, we only have one call per night or whatever your name is, so please, you can please respect those rules, and you're welcome to call any other night of the week with more of your complaints. We'd love to hear you then. Thank you for the call tonight. Let's go to Dave Ridley, somebody who's been here a lot longer than this guy. Dave, you were one of the first movers for the Free State Project back in 2003, 2004?
Yes, and hi, Michelle.
Hi, Dave Ridley. Wow.
Welcome back.
Oh, it's really nice. Thanks for calling in and saying hi. You've always been one of my favorites, and I love the videos that you did, and you always really were really cordial in how you would chase officials down in parking lots and film them, and yeah, I appreciate you.
So Dave,
I appreciate me too.
This is Dave Ridley, by the way, from RidleyReport.com. As I said, one of the earliest movers for this New Hampshire freedom migration that, again, the Free State Project is only a part of. There's also the Shire Society, which is a decentralized movement of libertarians. There's no board of directors. There's no membership rolls. There's nothing like that with the Shire Society. It's just an encouraging of people to move here who care about freedom, and then encouraging them to sign the Shire Society Declaration, which many of us have
I was the
signed.
seventh person to sign it.
That's right. You were there back in the day at PorkFest, when PorkFest was fun and a really great event way back when. But Dave, you probably were on hold at the very least while this guy was complaining about his experience here, and obviously misunderstanding what was really happening here. You've been here for a long time. I mean, what are your thoughts on the relative freedom of New Hampshire compared to elsewhere?
Well, I mean, I always like to say that in 2001, when the Free State Project got off the ground and their Yahoo group was its first day or two in existence, this would have been in late July 2001. It only took 2 days. Like the sun only had to come up and go down twice or 4 times or whatever that is for 2 days before people figured out that this race was New Hampshire's to lose. And
I voted for Montana, I think,
you
though.
really?
Yeah, I did.
I voted for New Hampshire and then Wyoming after that. New Hampshire, Wyoming, Alaska was my top 3.
I actually copied and pasted maybe 10 years ago. I copied and pasted those initial posts, and it's pretty insightful. But people, about half the posts seem to kind of point to New Hampshire, and they immediately got it. And from then on, there was just nothing else that could catch up with it. New Hampshire just rises to the top automatically in any check of the nation's freedom, in which states have the most freedom.
It's not in every category. If you go to freedomin50states.org, overall, New Hampshire is the #1 most free, but they actually break it down into multiple categories: fiscal, regulatory, personal, economic, lawsuit, land, marriage, education, occupational, victimless, and health insurance. Actually, there's even more after that. There's labor, alcohol, asset forfeiture, gambling, tobacco, guns, cannabis, cable, and incarceration. So these are all the categories that they looked at when they were trying to figure out which states are the most free. So, for instance, under, economic, New Hampshire is still, it's number 5 in overall economic freedom. But overall total, New Hampshire is #1. So when you look at all of the categories together, New Hampshire wins. But it's it's not perfect in every single category. There's a lot of work to be done, and that's the reason why we came here, was to take an already very free place compared to the rest of the world and the rest of the country, and make it even more free by bringing libertarian doers, the people who are the ones who are willing to actually put the pedal to the metal, put their nose to the grindstone, hit the streets, do the things that it takes to actually influence society in government in a different direction.
Also, I would say that Granite Staters, because I did know some people from New Hampshire back in like Lake Tahoe who were skiers, and they'd gone out there, and they were all very freedom oriented. And I would say that Granite Staters, compared to like the tri-state people, are independent, self-reliant, they're neighborly, they're cordial. So what I've found in living in all these different places around the country is that there are definitely personalities to and cultural norms to an area.
Yeah, this is a different place.
And when I think about my experience, I think I was in jail 5 years ago this last weekend, and in lieu of paying fines. So the difference between how I was treated at Keene Spiritual Center,
the Keene Spiritual Retreat,
yeah, versus my son, who when he was in New Jersey, he had filmed some cops and got, oh boy, yeah, and he got fined, and then he didn't pay the fine, so he went to jail.
Really?
I was ill.
Which son?
Faisal, of course, yeah. Yeah. So
he went to jail for how long?
He was in there a few different times, actually. But this one in particular, with this one time, they were holding him even though he had enough money in his pocket to pay for his fine. They didn't tell him that he could do that until after he'd already given his clothes, and he was in his jail clothes, blah, blah, blah. And he was waiting to get hold of me. But he told them that he was gluten intolerant, and he gets very sick. He lost 7 pounds in 3 days versus me. They let me out 2 days early because I was the nice lady that they couldn't see incarcerating.
Well, I mean, there is a reason why we call it the Keene Spiritual Retreat. Dave, hang on. If you had more you wanted to share, stick with us. We'll bring you back. We can get more of Dave Ridley if he's got time with RidleyReport.com. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. You can bring up anything that you want. Obviously, Dave thinks it's great here. He stuck around for more than a decade. It's Free Talk Live.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at buysellmakeoffer.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, November 6th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.90 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,272 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,422. Antiwar.com reports Saudi Arabia has had a few royal shakeups in the past year, setting the stage for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's ultimate ascension to the throne. The purge, however, is mounting with a stunning number of arrests over the weekend. In what the state media is describing as a corruption probe, the Saudis have arrested a massive number of high-ranking officials, including 11 princes, 4 cabinet ministers, and dozens of other members of the royal family. Being arrested as a random criminal in Saudi Arabia isn't exactly the same thing as being a detained royal. Instead of prison, the royals and top officials are being held in luxury hotels around the capital of Riyadh, with Riyadh's Ritz-Carlton being emptied to serve as a prison for royal family members. Among the detained are Prince Metel bin Abdullah, who was once seen as a contender for the crown, and the head of the National Guard. Multi-billionaire Alawid bin Talal was also detained, as are many of Mohammed bin Salman's relatives, who were seen as potential threats to him when he becomes king. It's expected that there will be more arrests coming, as in addition to the arrests, the Saudis have closed the airport for private planes, preventing the wealthy and powerful from escaping the country for the time being. Mohammed bin Salman was named Crown Prince in June. The shakeup was widely expected, with the previous Crown Prince in failing health. King Salman's own health has been in question for years, and the transition to the next generation of royals is seen as a very destabilizing event. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a man scheduled to be executed later this week in Arkansas said in his will that he wants his head to be removed from his body so a doctor can study his brain. Jack Green said he believes injuries caused by the Arkansas Department of Corrections has led to severe dementia and mental illness. He thinks a medical examination of his brain will prove his allegations. He wrote in his will, "I direct that upon my death through execution by the state of Arkansas, my head shall be surgically removed from my body and transported out of state to an independent medical examiner such as Dr. Jan Garavaglia and producers of her television program on the Justice Network. Dr. Garavaglia hosts a reality show in which she investigates unexplained deaths." Green's lawyer, John Williams, told NBC News on Friday, "This is something he really insisted that he dictate to me and to write down. He wants to prove all the injuries that he believes have been committed against him." Green is scheduled to be executed Thursday after an Arkansas circuit judge on Friday dismissed a lawsuit seeking to stop it. Williams, who said Green is not mentally competent for execution, execution said he appealed to the Arkansas Supreme Court. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson said numerous courts have reviewed the case, and I am satisfied that the Supreme Court standards have been met and that he is competent to be executed. As normal, I will continue to review any additional relevant facts as November 9th approaches. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports a gunman dressed in black tactical gear massacred at least 26 worshipers and wounded 20 others at a white-steepled church in Sutherland Springs, Texas on Sunday. The lone suspect, also wearing a ballistic vest and carrying a rifle, fired into the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs and kept shooting after he went inside. Sutherland Springs is about 40 miles east of San Antonio. Law enforcement officials told a news conference the victims ranged in age from 5 years to 72 years old, including the 14-year-old daughter of Pastor Frank Pomeroy. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
McDonald's is now offering bereavement prices, and a sexual predator gets tenure. This is the Onion Week in Review. This Wednesday, Samsung announced the release of its brand new really big television. Representatives for the South Korean electronics manufacturer told reporters at a press conference that the goddamn gargantuan of an electronics product boasted a variety of new features, including being super heavy and having a screen that was probably 100 inches wide for all they knew.
We here at Samsung think this new product will appeal to today's consumers who are looking for a television that's really huge. I mean, this thing is built like a Mack truck. You just really have to see it to believe it.
In other news, an important decision is sent up to the company's highest idiot. And an area mother doesn't see why Thai people need to make food so spicy. Today's Onion Review was sponsored by Bamboo Garden, voted the best family-owned Chinese restaurant in Idaho for 5 years running.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the second hour of the program. Plenty of time for you to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
I'm Michelle.
We're going right back to your phone calls and thoughts as we talk to Dave Ridley, who's still with us on the line. Dave, where are you calling from tonight, by the way? There's a little bit of noise on your line every so often.
Oh, I'm on Skype, and I've got the phone sort of in a container, so maybe I should take it out. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, what else did you want to share with us tonight? Why were you calling?
Wait, go back to the container. Is this like for privacy?
Let's see, this is it was a former like FedEx priority mail, like it's just a piece of cardboard basically that I cut up and taped together, and it just sort of holds the phone.
Okay.
I didn't think it affected the sound, so I didn't bother to take it off, but now it's off.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Anyway, I just wanted to, as a minor update regarding the NH exit movement. Two things. If you want to consider the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence to be sort of part of the same movement, then I guess they're the ones that are doing the really interesting thing, and that is that I guess they're planning an expedition to Catalonia.
Oh.
Wow, cool.
And this is, I think it's supposed to occur in January.
All right.
There are a few different countries that are saying that they're going to acknowledge Catalonia as an independent state.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that news.
Finland and one other.
That's good news for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what the latest headlines are there. We've been following it pretty closely, but not like super close. We haven't been doing daily updates, but trying to kind of check in at least on a once-a-week basis with what's been happening there. For listeners that aren't familiar, Catalonia, the area of Spain, is the most wealthy region in Spain, and they decided they wanted to go their own way and declared their independence.
From the EU.
Yeah, well, no, from Spain. Which ultimately would be from
yes,
the EU
yes.
as well. But yeah, so people are planning to go and visit there and I guess meet with some of the independistas.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds like
That's
fun.
one thing.
I think I'll
one
stay in
thing
New
that's
Hampshire, though.
happening.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then there another more minor piece of news is that one of the NH Exit supporters has called a meetup for November 15th, and that'll be in Concord.
All right, excellent. Well, the folks can go to your nhexit.com website to learn more about that, right, Dave?
Yeah, if they go to nhexit.com, you just want to click on the Facebook group, and that'll have updates.
Dave, thanks for the call tonight. Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. As we continue, you can
Great to hear your voice, Dave.
Yeah, he's one of the best activists that we have up here. Stefan is in Ohio, also on Skype. Go ahead, Stefan. Stefan in Ohio, going once. Stefan in Ohio, going twice. We'll put Stefan back on hold. Sometimes people end up having difficulty with the mute button.
Yeah.
I accidentally had my microphone on mute,
All
but
right.
I'd like to comment on some of the things the guy earlier who you guys described as whiny was talking about.
Yes, because all he did was whine the entire time he was on the phone.
I think I understand what he was trying to get at, because some of the messaging when you hear people talk about New Hampshire migration, it seems like they never talk about how it's not exactly a free state yet.
We talk all the time about the problems in New Hampshire. What do you mean?
Not necessarily your show. I'm just saying I noticed that LRN has some advertisements about the Free State Project sometimes, and it makes it seem already like New Hampshire is this vastly superior place to the rest of the country.
Not for a while.
Yeah, we're not running Free State Project ads on LRN. If you hear one, do let me know. There is an ad that talks about people who have signed up for the Free State Project and where they're going to move, and it suggests they move to Keene. So there is that ad. And then there's another one about the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, which also mentions the Free State Project. But the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire is a great documentary film that we put together back in 2014. It's actually about 3 years old as of this week, I think. This is its third anniversary. And of course, that's all about the good stuff in New Hampshire. I mean,
it's advertising.
Right, yeah. You want to it's marketing. You want to put your best foot forward. But what is it specifically? I mean, is it just the advertisements on LRN that rub you the wrong way, or what?
I was in a political Discord server a couple of days ago, if you know what Discord is.
Isn't that like a group chat thing, like an audio chat?
Yeah, it's basically what has replaced TeamSpeak and Mumble at this point, yeah. And I was hearing from a couple of individuals who claim they had moved to New Hampshire about how it's vastly superior to the rest of the country.
Oh, it is.
You should move there if you want to live more free.
I mean, no doubt about it. You can check out the Freedom in the 50 States study. It's very, very detailed. New Hampshire's number one.
But it's a long way out. I'm sure you'd agree.
Well, right, but that's kind of like asking which virus would you rather have if you had to pick a virus. So, like, while you might say the flu, I think is probably the least worst one as far as I know, it's still a virus and it's still gonna suck. So asking what state would you rather live in the most does not mean that we have anarchy by any means.
Well, I have to ask, you talk about, the flu analogy. Well, H1N1 isn't too far off from that. If you were going to go through the trouble of moving across the country, why not just start one in your own state if you're already that far out? Why is
oldest
New
objection
Hampshire
in the book?
I actually
Good question.
so I'll be on your side on this. I've lived probably in more states than it's safe to say probably anyone else in this room. I think I've lived in 15 and I've spent time in 32, like significant time. So I've gotten a pretty good, flavor of or idea of the flavor of people and everything. And I really do think that if you can network in your community and, I support people doing that. Like I was down in North Carolina and although Stefan Molyneux called the Appalachian area of Madison County the poorest in, the country, those people grow their own food, they trade, they barter, they help each other out. And so they're able to afford a certain kind of freedom that when you don't know your neighbor and you don't grow your own food, you can't no matter where you live.
Well, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine are the top 3 localvore states of all of the 50 states. So those are localvore meaning people who grow their own food, grow their own, they have their own own beasts that they slaughter, all the stuff that's created locally. I don't remember which order it is, 1, 2, and 3, but New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine are the top 3 states for localvore. So even though they may have farms in other states, it's the biggest in this area. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing to get together with like-minded people, but the problem is, and the reason why, and I understand you're, what are you, 18?
But I mean, rather, you wouldn't leave necessarily a
19.
career or something like that. And like, if you had a large family, I can understand. But in your case, if you're 19 years old, what are you waiting for?
Well, my point is...
It depends on what else you have going for you. So if you're coming from New York, New Jersey, California, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, then it might be worth leaving a substantial amount more than if you're coming from somewhere else who's relatively free. And it depends on what you're leaving behind. I mean, yeah, some other state might be horrible, but if you're making, $300,000 a year, you own a house, you have a career that you can't move, you have a wife who doesn't want to move, your family's there, you have 6 kids, like that is an entirely different...
Those are all reasons why people give to not make the move to New Hampshire. That's fine.
But it depends. I'm not going to wholesale say everyone should move to New Hampshire
of course
because
not.
I don't know what you're giving up to.
I would never say
here.
everyone should move to New Hampshire.
Or
only
even,
the people who actually
even liberty people.
Only the people who actually value freedom enough to do something about it. If you're willing to actually do something about liberty, then you want to be in a place where it's most effective. You don't want to be in a place where you're ineffective. Otherwise, you might as well just slam your head up against a brick wall a few times because that's what you're going to be doing in effect. If you're
looking
by yourself.
for where is the freest, where is the freest place is your priority, or if you're looking for where is a community of other anarchists, if those are your priorities, then New Hampshire is what
the
makes
answer.
sense.
Yeah.
I think
you're not going to recreate this anywhere else. You're not going to.
Maybe it's because everywhere else, libertarians, minarchists, anarchists, they absolutely suck at coming together. I'm sure you would agree with that. In most places of the country, you can't.
That's because there aren't very many of them. It's not that they're bad at coming together.
And there are many in Keene. I don't.
There are
think
more
most
libertarians There are more libertarians on this corner of the street. And there's 2 houses right here. There's more libertarians in these houses than there were at the Libertarian Party meetings in Sarasota, Florida, a much larger market, a market with more than 10 times the population. But stand by here, Stefan, because, it's not right for everybody moving and uprooting their lives.
I'm going to hug Mark now.
855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Fireplaces and wood stoves are wonderful to have and provide low-cost heating, but they've got their drawbacks too. One of them is the increased likelihood that your home will burn. My primary advice is to never let fire into your home and to make sure that you have an extinguisher on every floor and the garage, and that everyone knows how to use it. But if you love your wood stove, don't want to give it up, make sure that you keep things away from it and have a professional clean it every year. The pro will make sure the chimney is properly functioning also. Make sure to dispose of your ashes outside too. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. It's bitcoin.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Melanie.
And Michelle.
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want, and check out the Blink home security system. If you've been thinking about getting home security, but you've just been turned off by the cost involved, the potential install costs and hassles, you don't have any of those issues with blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for 1, and they are super easy to set up. It's an entirely wireless system, so there's no drilling, there's no running wires, and all of the hassles are trying to set up a DVR, which I've had to go through in the past. This was super easy. You can set it up in just moments. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. So we go back to Stefan in Ohio. Stefan, you brought up the age-old question of, this whole free state, the liberty movement, this migration of libertarians migrating to New Hampshire. Why not just do it where you live? Was the question. Why not just set this up in your state? Sort of was where you were coming from.
Yeah.
And the reason why not is the reason why the project was created in the first place, was because libertarians for a long time have been failing at setting it up where they live, at creating more freedom where they live. The Libertarian Party was created back in the 1970s. It's been around for more than 4 decades at this point, and they've really gotten no foothold anywhere whatsoever in that time frame. They consistently lose their elections with 2 to 3% of the vote in a 3-way race. The media consistently ignores them.
John McAfee was running for president on the Libertarian. He's going to eat his own dick if Bitcoin isn't worth $50,000 or something.
And by dick, you mean his spotted dick that he will have likely cooked up delicious for him.
That's what I meant.
But anyway, my point being, the failure of the libertarian movement was what was one of the reasons why somebody said, hey, what would happen if people who were libertarian moved to one place? And that's where the idea of the New Hampshire freedom migration, or in that time it was called the Free State Project, came about. And so it was the failure of let's do this here and have 50 different let's do this heres around the country. That doesn't work.
Well, the reason you bring up a good point of how it doesn't work anywhere else, but the reason it doesn't work anywhere else is because the messaging absolutely sucks. The majority of people couldn't even tell you what a libertarian is at this point, and I don't see how that's any less.
When you say the messaging
okay, but
sucks,
that's part of our job. That's like step one of our job, and if we suck at that, then we suck.
Here's part of the reason why. Let me explain this to you. As a longtime libertarian, somebody who was involved in Libertarian Party activism down in Florida, where I'm originally from, part of the reason why your messaging sucks is because the libertarians suck, and they are terrible. A lot of them are terrible, like people who should not be running for political office. But when you have only a handful of activists somewhere, well, guess what? Those are the people who you get to pull from as far as who runs for political office. So you have a bunch of autistic, confused libertarian males who are not necessarily the best in front of a video camera or good at giving an interview or whatever. These are the ones who are your communicators. These are the ones who are going out there running for office and embarrassing themselves or whatever.
When you put it that way.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Okay.
I mean, there's not enough of us right now yet to really spread out, and again, nobody's obligated to move to New Hampshire.
No,
but if you only have so many people and you only have enough people to do it once, maybe you can't spread out what you don't have. Once we grow our numbers, and maybe we'll take over Vermont or something. I don't know, but there's not enough people to fill really even New Hampshire yet.
Right.
So.
In New Hampshire, you've got literally thousands of libertarians who've moved here as part of this migration. So we have a much larger pool from which to pick.
Where are the results?
The results? Dude, we've got libertarians in the state legislature. You don't have that in other places.
Libertarians.
That doesn't matter. You have libertarians who ran as Republicans and Democrats who got elected with a libertarian message in New Hampshire. They have been libertarians when they were in the state house, meaning that they voted libertarian on pretty much everything, and they got reelected. A bunch of them did. And you also have 3 state reps who have flipped their political party to the Libertarian Party. So New Hampshire actually has a Libertarian caucus and actually has Libertarian Party members who are in the state house, in addition to all the ones that are sort of Republicans and Democrat libertarians that are in there.
But literally anybody can switch their party affiliation in office. Have you guys ever
been elected? Because first you have to be elected to actually switch your party affiliation. So not just anyone can do that.
And
any Republican or Democrat elected could.
But that doesn't happen.
Okay, so if you convert a sitting senator, I will consider that as much of an accomplishment.
So I've never voted or participated in the political process, and I'm going to be 50 next month. So, but I have been a self-proclaiming anarchist since I was 12. So my goal was never to come to New Hampshire and get involved in the political process and overturn anything. I wanted to come and associate with like-minded people and surround myself with those who were interested in voluntary exchange. Now, I ended up ruffling the feathers of a couple police officers who just didn't really get me, and so I did get fined and had my vehicles confiscated and what have you, and had to go to court for different things. But I will say, the day before I moved away, one of my sons and I were out at my last hearing in it's not here, Keene. It's the next town out. Anyway, Jaffrey, yes, thank you. And I actually, the judge and the prosecutor, they both stood. There was this whole thing about standing for the judge that was kind of a thing back when I was here. And,
you mean not standing? We don't stand for judges.
But they stood for me when I left.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they did. And they both thanked me and said that they had learned a lot from me regarding freedom and the ideas that I had presented. And though they didn't necessarily agree with everything, they appreciated the way I presented it. And they ended up dismissing all of my charges. And all the police knew that I still didn't register my vehicles at the time, and they stopped ticketing me. So do I think that you can make change as an individual with, and change the hearts and minds? I'm always interested in changing the hearts and minds of individuals rather than having the state mandate different orders.
See, and to me, the political stuff is more palliative, but, we're going to be here a long time, so I'm glad that people are doing that. So to me, the most important thing is converting people. But as far as what you can measure, politically, they had constitutional carry passed recently.
That's right.
An activist overturned or however you want to look at it, got it, a state Supreme Court ruling that you could film police officers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a marijuana law that you guys...
There's a slight decrim that went in place this year. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, the laundry list goes on and on, Stefan. I mean, we've had tremendous level of success here compared to every libertarian, group everywhere else in the country, and it's basically just a numbers game. I mean, if you have the numbers, you can have success. You can make liberty popular. If you want to just toil away in relative obscurity, there's 49 other states where libertarians are doing that, and look at their results. More coming up here. Thanks for the call. Check out 101reasonsfilm.com if you want to learn more about New Hampshire.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to gcnwellness.com. Just like it sounds, gcnwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click gcnwellness.com.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. fullycookedbacon.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll-free to bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You want to learn about Bitcoin? Now's a good time to learn about it because, well, things are going to get really interesting in the Bitcoin world within the next 10 days. So, learn about Bitcoin over at bitcoin.com. It's a great place to go and get the kind of the introduction to Bitcoin. Also, a great place to go and get news headlines about what's going on in the Bitcoin universe, and you can play games with your Bitcoin there. There's a forum there. You go to bitcoin.com and check that out. Toll-free number tonight if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE like freedom. We've been talking actually about the New Hampshire freedom migration. I guess what started the conversation was you're back, Michele 7, a former co-host here on Free Talk Live, joining me and Melanie. I'm Ian, here tonight to kind of recap on where you've been and what you've been up to in your life. But that sparked a phone call by somebody who was real butthurt about moving to New Hampshire, and he said something about Free State, this and that, but it didn't really seem like he really understood what was going on here.
He's disgruntled and upset. He just wants a forum to rant.
Well, that's fine. We can handle that. I mean, we take phone calls.
Once a night, though, only though, buddy.
Yeah, we take phone calls from anybody about anything.
I mean, but if his problem is with the FSP, he should go complain to the FSP.
Well, right, because Free Talk Live was, as you pointed out, Melanie, actually kicked out of the Free State Project events. We are no longer allowed to attend the Porcupine Freedom Festival. We're no longer.
That does not stop them from
not
asking us to volunteer there, by the way.
No, I personally was personally banned, but they also banned Free Talk Live. So Mark Edge, who's our co-host regularly, you're sitting in his seat tonight.
I know,
he's
keeping it warm.
personally not banned. So if Mark wanted to go to the event, he could. But Mark would not be allowed to broadcast Free Talk Live.
But Free Talk Live is not allowed at the event. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what that means, but I know that the show is banned.
That's correct.
So does that mean you can't wear a Free Talk Live shirt? I don't know. Does that mean you can't play it on the radio?
They didn't want to have LRN there, which is the Liberty Radio Network, but Derek J. convinced them otherwise the first year out. And after that, this year, nobody did a live show from PorcFest. So
well, and that was always the fun. I mean, it
was fun for us, but other people had fun for different reasons.
So I voted back in the day, and I had pledged in 2006 to come here. But I had thought that
you voted on the state, not voted in the elections. You voted on the state that the Free State Project would choose.
Correct. Thank you. And then in 2006, I did sign a pledge to come. But it was my issue with the IRS and Motorhome Diaries coming to Nashville, where I was living at the time, and interviewing me, and then subsequently me being calling in and talking on your show, that was what drew me at the time to come to New Hampshire when I did. And Free Talk Live was really the epicenter and the heart of the Free State Project movement at that time. And PorcFest in 2010 was wild with Buzz's Big Gay Dance Party.
Yep.
And we had so much fun, but you guys were major contributors, and you had you were interviewing people all day long up in the up in that room.
We were one of the biggest recruiters for the Free State Project, and
which they acknowledged in the press release kicking us out.
When they kicked us to the curb. Yeah, thanks for everything you did.
And
Bye.
then you mentioned that when I left here, Bitcoin became my what I was doing and everything, and how 5 years ago when I was sitting here, you were just talking about Bitcoin, and it's at $7,000 or $7,500 right now. And
it is around $7,000.
And I remember when we were talking about, it's 30 cents. It's gone up to $1. Woo-hoo!
And I still didn't have the foresight to actually buy it, but thank goodness Roger Beer did, and he ended up sponsoring Free Talk Live with Bitcoin later on down the road. So, yeah, it's been a long story. We, of course, can talk to you about anything. Let's go to Jerome calling from Berlin, New Hampshire, or Berlin, as they call it here. Go ahead, Jerome.
Berlin, Maine.
All right.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hey, I was just calling. That guy from Ohio had a really good point, and I wanted to tell y'all that that other dude that was calling in whining, Y'all kind of acted like a bunch of high school bullies, wouldn't let him talk.
Oh, you're the
Y'all
same
only operate
guy.
out of your mama's
You're the
basement.
same guy, and you're calling in again. It's really sad that
It
you
would be
can't.
really difficult.
It's really sad that you can't respect the rules. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of rules on this show.
It would be really difficult for any of us to live in our mom's basement from New Hampshire.
Well, and it doesn't, to me, it's self-government is what is needed in order to abolish the state. And if you can't respect rules on calling into a radio station, it's no surprise to me that you wouldn't be getting along with people who are part of a Free State Project. You just don't get it, dude.
Clearly not. The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Melanie, you wanted to share a story tonight about a judge. Since we talked about courts earlier, this I think will fit in. You had a judge who has ordered somebody to say nice things about his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. What has happened? Where is this happening? And where's the story from, if you don't mind?
It's from NOLA.com, but the case took place in Hawaii.
Okay.
And I don't know if this guy's actually guilty of anything, so I'm not going to say his name. But the judge, Rhonda Liu.
Sounds like Hawaii.
Had in front of her a case where a guy had violated a restraining order, or Hawaii's version of a restraining order, violating a protection order against his ex-girlfriend. And apparently, according to the court, he texted her 144 times within a 3-hour period. And
oh, boy.
Apparently, according to her, too. So...
And according to text records, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird what doesn't get admitted into evidence in these kind of things. And it was
He
a hearing.
texted her
it wasn't
how many
a trial.
times?
144 times in 3 hours.
In 3 hours.
I've done that.
But was the person responding, though? Is the
Just
thing.
kidding.
So it was a hearing, so he didn't necessarily... I don't know if he got to admit evidence or if the phone records were actually admitted. It's a hearing, not a trial, so I don't know. But assuming he did it, the judge sentenced him to some probation, and I think he had to do a couple months, too. But one of the terms of his probation was that he had to now write 144 nice things about her because he had texted her 144 mean things.
Now, that means he would have to write them like on a separate piece of paper because he's still not allowed to text her, I would imagine, even if it's nice things, right? There's a...
Right, so he has to submit this to the judge. So assuming he's guilty...
of violating the restraining order.
I love the way your mouth curls into that snarl when you're complaining to me. I love the odor that is emitted from you. Like, oh, that would be so.
Assuming that he's guilty, and if those text messages actually happened, then he is. It's really weird to convict somebody of essentially stalking and sentence them to more stalking. So this guy...
More thinking about the person or whatever.
So if he did this and he has a problem with not letting this girl go, now he's ordered by the state of Hawaii to go home and sit down and think about this girl until he can come up with 144 things.
That sounds like something in like a third grade teacher would have you do.
A punishment, yeah.
I mean, that just seems to me like something that the victim would not ever want. To know that this guy, and she probably knows, this guy is at home doing this, and then
it's
going to
just
hand
that
it to some judge.
parentalism of the state, and silliness. You need a dunce cap. Wear a dunce cap while you do that. And by the way, you have to write with your right hand, not your left. I mean, it's very...
Very Bart Simpson, right, where he's always writing on the chalkboard over and over again. You have to write this 50 times or whatever. I will not do, fill in the blank.
Oh, goodness. That's crazy.
So that was the sentence. Is that where the case is right now as far as he was just sentenced?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're saying this is a bad sentence because it's going to encourage him to continue obsessing over this person.
Right. So if he is, and assuming she's not... Because a lot of times you'll get these cases and the victim's responding and then they get mad and they'll go back to court. But if this is the case, then the last thing he needs to do is go home and write a book about her.
The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, you can share your thoughts and take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown. But these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But did you know you can have tax-free access to your life insurance while you're still alive? You can use the life benefits of your life insurance to grow your money with certainty and guarantees. No stock market risk, no tax risk, and no penalties. Call Life Benefits if you'd like a free book about how this can be done. Call 702-660-7000. That's 702-660-7000.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio here. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so Skype on in. And Skype username LRN.FM with you in the studio tonight. It's Ian.
Melanie.
And Michelle.
So on our website, as I mentioned before, it's a Reddit-based front page, which means that anybody who wants to submit content to it can do that. So if you've got a news article or a YouTube video or some other thing that you want to share with us and our listeners, it's a great way to do it because then other listeners can vote up or down based on whether they like or dislike what you've submitted. And you can vote up or down on the other people's submissions as well. And then we'll look at it usually before the show and see if there's anything there that we want to talk about on the radio. Now, of course, the best way to get your thoughts and whatever issue you might have on with us is by calling into the show. But every now and then, somebody will actually post a text post. So instead of just like putting a link on our front page, they'll write their own post. And in this case, somebody has posted a question. Why is Ian out of the loop on many things? And it says here, he sounds ignorant on many topics because he does not read the news. Worse is, I think that he is proud that he does not bother with current events news. And so I just wanted to address this particular subject because, yeah, I'm out of the loop on a lot of things because I really don't care about everything that's going on in the world. I don't feel like I need to know. I want to know about the things that interest me, obviously, but most of the things that the news puts out there are really not of much
fake news.
Well,
just ask the president.
Whether it's real or fake, I'm not going to spend time trying to figure it out because ultimately it doesn't matter to me. Do I know that the government is getting bigger? Yeah. Is the government getting more intrusive, oppressive, and more expensive than ever, regardless of who is elected to it? Yeah, of course. So I don't care about most of the things you hear on talk radio. If you listen to talk radio, it's almost always so-and-so did this in Washington, D.C., and so-and-so is against that. And, it's all about the political personalities of the moment, right? And those people always change. Every election, there's changes to who
But it all stays the same.
Exactly. So there's really nothing.
You like to be impactful.
Well, I mean, I like to focus on the things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in Bitcoin, and I'm interested in activism. I'm interested in liberty. And if those things kind of cross and news related to those things crosses my
Magic
purview.
the Gathering.
I haven't played Magic the Gathering in quite a long time, but there was a short time when some of the Free Staters up here were playing that game. Yeah, gaming is great. I love it, but I just don't spend any time on it at all these days. But, am I proud to not know what's going on in the world? I mean, I don't know if pride is the right word. It's just that I focus on the things that are important to me.
I would ask that person, are you proud that that's where you invest your time? I mean, it's funny how people, they just really want to be better than other people. They just really want to find a reason to say, I'm better than you because I read the news.
Yeah, sure.
Good
and
for
I
you.
just... Hey, good for you. You know more about the news.
Yeah.
Great. I know about some things that you probably don't know about, right? Because we all have our interests, our areas of interest. Melanie went to law school. She knows a lot more about the law than any of us do. She's a professional accountant as well. And so everybody has their areas of expertise. As far as hosting a show, I guess you could make the argument, though, that, well, you need to know what the news is to host a talk show. Well, apparently I don't, because I've been able to do it.
I've been ignorant all this time, and I'm doing quite well.
On Sunday night, I scroll down the news and see if anything happens that I can bring in here. And once I find one story, I'm pretty much done.
Right. Yeah, that's all you need to do. I mean, I've been doing this show since 2002, and my method of preparing for it hasn't changed significantly the entire time. I basically do what Melanie does, except I usually do it 10 minutes before the show. I'm exaggerating a little bit. I'll see a story during the daytime if I'm, on the internet. If I spot something and I'm like, oh, that's
most
good
of
for
the
the
stuff
show.
I even share to my page is so that when I come in here, I can go back to my own page and look and see.
And so, sure.
Well, I don't know. My experience since January 17th of 1991, is that the news lies. I was over in Europe when George Bush Sr. started bombing Iraq, and I was staying with the Saudi Arabian family, and I had a very different perspective, and what I was seeing was contrary to what I was watching on CNN. So I don't know. I prefer to live the news. I like to be in the center of the story, and that's why Derek and Jason and I went down to Occupy Wall Street so that we could investigate that stuff for ourselves. Reading about the news, watching the news, I don't know. That's just more spectator sports, and I think it's vicious. I think it's kind of sick, actually, that people will sit down and be growing their butt while they're eating and watching what is someone who's being paid several $100,000 to $1 million a year tell them what reality is and what the truth is. When it's
all skewed.
It's skewed, and they're flat out lying. And so I'm not interested in paying with my time to have people lie to me or try to give me propaganda. Sorry.
If there's some sort of important news story that I need to know about, then you should call in and talk about it, right? Like if there's something that you want to
take control of the airwaves.
Right. It is funny that the only people who figure out that they can get on the radio are the chronic callers, people like that guy who called 3 times tonight, or Sarah in New Mexico, or some of these others that call regularly. Like these guys get it. But they're unfortunately not particularly useful as far as, they're not really bringing anything interesting to the table in a lot of cases. I'll give Sarah a pass because sometimes she starts some really interesting conversations. But if libertarians out there, for instance, wanted to get their ideas out there or talk about some sort of cool news
share
or activism.
Your news with
but
the
they
show.
never do. They never do. I've invited them to, but they don't do it. And I suspect that's because there really isn't that much happening in the libertarian movement these days. I mean, every now and then they run a political campaign and they get all excited about that, but that's about it. That's all that ever happened down in Florida, where I'm from, was, every 4 years somebody'd run for office and, we'd get behind them and then they'd fail and then nothing would happen except for people sitting around complaining for the next 4 years until the next person ran for office. I mean, so beyond that, there's now Facebook and these social media things where people can get on and complain. And there's certainly a lot of libertarians that love to get online and complain about stuff. But what are they really doing? I mean, that doesn't count as activism, by the way, going online and, arguing with people. I'm sorry. It just doesn't count. That's just a time killer.
In the realm of philosophy, like the allegory of the cave, that you don't have to know about what's going on out there, wherever out there is, to be able to have an intelligent conversation using reason about it. So as far as preparing, like you can have any subject, and if you are a thoughtful listener and conversationalist and you use reason and have, a code of ethics and everything, then you can pretty much discuss anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any less reason to trust somebody who calls in and says what happened than I do to trust
the news.
That wrote in and said what happens. And if there's something that I feel is important, then I'll keep up with that particular story. That doesn't mean I need to know everything CNN said this week.
Right.
I keep Googling when Walter Reed's appeal date is going to be, and some other less vindictive things than that I keep up with. So if something I feel is important, I keep up with it. But I mean, sometimes it's not even news. It's just like random opinions, and I don't really care what Republicans and Democrats think outside of how I can manipulate that to convert them.
So it's not that I'm proud to be ignorant of these things. It's just that it doesn't matter to me. It just, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't feel like I need to compare my level of knowledge to anybody else. I'm not embarrassed about it.
You can't change it anyway. Like if the U.S. is going to bomb a country, if I read about it, they're not going to now not bomb that country.
Or if we talk about it, they're not going to not, bomb the country. So anyway, I do appreciate the question.
But maybe if we hold hands though, and we talk about it, and we chant.
I think that's been tried. Still don't have world peace.
So if you want to join us here, you can bring up anything that you want. And I totally agree with what you're saying, Michele. And that is how we've always run this show. Is that like your typical talk show? The host of the show supposedly does all this preparation. All the talk show hosts always brag about how I prepare 3 hours for every 1 hour I'm on the air. It's like typically what you'll hear from these guys. And, maybe they do. But they always have like one topic that they pick that lasts for the entire hour, and they've researched and they've got all their facts in order, and they'll only talk about that one topic, and then they'll only talk to certain people who call in about it, who like agree with them on the topic.
Echo chamber.
Yeah,
it's boring.
Whereas here, anyone can call in about anything they want.
Obviously.
And we'll take whatever the topics are. So yeah, we're generally somewhat ignorant of pretty much every topic that comes up, but as you pointed out, because we we care about freedom, because we're principled libertarians and we understand, the non-aggression principle and what liberty is, and we've got our basics down, we can address any issue that comes up as they come up with just whatever the basic facts are or allegations are in the case. So you're always invited to join us here. We got a full hour where you can coming up in hour number 3 on the way. Our number here is 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. Interesting music-related crypto news coming up.
We have reached the age where things just cost more.
Cars, phones, life insurance.
Your blood pressure is up.
Your weight is up.
You're one to talk.
I have type 2 diabetes, so I'm getting dinged just like you.
Thank goodness for Big Lou.
Big Lou!
Big Lou can get term life insurance rates for a 50-year-old male with type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, or maybe he's on anxiety meds. For just around $200 a month for $1 million of coverage.
Oh, you got to say that again.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll say it. Big Lou and Term Provider could get a 50-year-old man, a little dinged up, $1 million in life insurance for around $200 a month.
Call Big Lou.
Big Lou.
He's like you. 800-476-5281. That's 800-476-5281.
Don't put it off. If you're overweight, diabetic, have high blood pressure, you gotta call Big Lou.
Gotta. 800-476-5281.
Write it down.
800-476-5281.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, November 6th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.90 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,272 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,422. Antiwar.com reports Saudi Arabia has had a few royal shakeups in the past year, setting the stage for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's ultimate ascension to the throne. The purge, however, is mounting with a stunning number of arrests over the weekend. In what the state media is describing as a corruption probe, the Saudis have arrested a massive number of high-ranking officials, including 11 princes, 4 cabinet ministers, and dozens of other members of the royal family. Being arrested as a random criminal in Saudi Arabia isn't exactly the same thing as being a detained royal. Instead of prison, the royals and top officials are being held in luxury hotels around the capital of Riyadh, with Riyadh's Ritz-Carlton being emptied to serve as a prison for royal family members. Among the detained are Prince Metel bin Abdullah, who was once seen as a contender for the crown, and the head of the National Guard. Multi-billionaire Alawid bin Talal was also detained, as are many of Mohammed bin Salman's relatives, who were seen as potential threats to him when he becomes king. It's expected that there will be more arrests coming, as in addition to the arrests, the Saudis have closed the airport for private planes, preventing the wealthy and powerful from escaping the country for the time being. Mohammed bin Salman was named Crown Prince in June. The shakeup was widely expected, with the previous Crown Prince in failing health. King Salman's own health has been in question for years, and the transition to the next generation of royals is seen as a very destabilizing event. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a man scheduled to be executed later this week in Arkansas said in his will that he wants his head to be removed from his body so a doctor can study his brain. Jack Green said he believes injuries caused by the Arkansas Department of Corrections has led to severe dementia and mental illness. He thinks a medical examination of his brain will prove his allegations. He wrote in his will, "I direct that upon my death through execution by the state of Arkansas, my head shall be surgically removed from my body and transported out of state to an independent medical examiner such as Dr. Jan Garavaglia and producers of her television program on the Justice Network. Dr. Garavaglia hosts a reality show in which she investigates unexplained deaths." Green's lawyer, John Williams, told NBC News on Friday, "This is something he really insisted that he dictate to me and to write down. He wants to prove all the injuries that he believes have been committed against him." Green is scheduled to be executed Thursday after an Arkansas circuit judge on Friday dismissed a lawsuit seeking to stop it. Williams, who said Green is not mentally competent for execution, said he appealed to the Arkansas Supreme Court. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson said numerous courts have reviewed the case and I am satisfied that the Supreme Court standards have been met and that he is competent to be executed. As normal, I will continue to review any additional relevant facts as November 9th approaches. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports a gunman dressed in black tactical gear massacred at least 26 worshipers and wounded 20 others at a white-steepled church in Sutherland Springs, Texas on Sunday. The lone suspect, also wearing a ballistic vest and carrying a rifle, fired into the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs and kept shooting after he went inside. Sutherland Springs is about 40 miles east of San Antonio. Law enforcement officials told a news conference the victims ranged in age from 5 years to 72 years old, including the 14-year-old daughter of Pastor Frank Pomeroy. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
On June 4th, 1919, a group of bold, passionate men took it upon themselves to pass the Women's Suffrage Act, finally granting women the right to vote that they were too frail and helpless to achieve on their own. Having long watched women struggle to stand up for their right to choose elected officials, the strong and capable men decided to intercede and aid their weak female counterparts. And on June 6, 1972, David Bowie's release of his concept album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, kick-started the glam rock genre and led to such spin-off trends as glam medicine, glam sports, and glamcatecture, all culminating in the 1976 presidential glam election. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of French King John II, history will forever remember the great names of Alexander and Napoleon and Washington. But what about me, John II of France? I did stuff too.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program with you in the studio tonight in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It's Ian,
Melanie,
and Michelle.
Michelle 7 joining us for a special episode here. Great to have you as we launch into our third hour. Coming up tonight, still, when we get the chance, we'll talk about pets on the menu in Venezuela for people who are hungry. They're getting desperate. And also in the cryptocurrency news, Bjork has come out with an album that is only available to people who will pay for it with cryptocurrency. So you can, of course, take control of the airwaves and bring up anything that you want. Let's go to the phones to the fun. Will, he's calling us from Seattle, Washington, watching us on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Hello there, Will.
How are you?
Hey, good. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, so I just wanted to say Bitcoin's been a crazy ride, huh?
Sure has. Over $7,000 per Bitcoin today, down slightly from its record high, which happened within the last 48 hours, I think, of around $7,600 per Bitcoin. So it's been an amazing month. It's been an amazing year. It's been an amazing 9 years for Bitcoin, or almost.
Yeah,
9.
I mean, I just got into it, I don't know, about a little over a year ago. When you guys turned me onto it, I started listening to the show and everything.
Right on.
Got into Bitcoin or whatever. It was $200. I bought half a Bitcoin and sold it off immediately once it hit like 1,100. You know.
Oh man.
Kicking myself now.
Oh well.
So I'm wondering, do you guys expect Dash to do what Bitcoin's doing? I mean,
no, absolutely not.
I don't know what to expect for Dash. I mean, it's another one of the other competing currencies. I think it's got a lot going for it, but it's hard to really pick a winner. I mean, obviously, we like Dash. It, I think, is well marketed. It is positioned as a sort of alternative to cash, a digital alternative to cash. It's certainly better to use it for day-to-day purchases than Bitcoin. I want to spend Dash at the businesses around town, so I've actually been working to recruit some of them to start accepting Dash, since now there finally is a point of sale system that actually allows for the acceptance of Dash, and that's the one that's being created by our friends Derek J. Freeman and his boyfriend Steven Zeiler, which is called
his
AnyPay.
partner.
That's right, partner.
Mm-hmm.
AnyPay.global. So I think Dash has a lot of potential, but potential doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily work out, or that it's going to be the number one currency, or that it's going to somehow unseat Bitcoin. I don't know what the next winner is going to be, but it sure doesn't seem like it's going to be Bitcoin at this point, because Bitcoin just seems to be so flummoxed by internal strife and infighting within the community.
Oh, the FUD is thick here.
The FUD? The fear, uncertainty, and doubt?
Yeah, it's thick.
So you think that Bitcoin's going to come out on top of this next schism, Michele 7? The schism, this fork that's coming up in about 9 days?
I am pro-core. I also, it's famously called a trustless system, and I think that there's a mistake in marketing it like that, because trust is actually a really important component of things. I mean, we trust that core is maintaining the blockchain ledger and the network, and is being maintained by the nodes. And so I've had the privilege of traveling around for the last 5 years and getting to know so many of the people that are involved in the Bitcoin protocol, and every single person but one. There's only one person who and his name's Christoph. Hi, Christoph. And I've just been really surprised, actually, at his position, but I respect him tremendously. But everyone else, from Adam back to Nick Szabo to
who are all these people? I mean, these are all...
Nick Szabo is a lawyer, a cryptographer. He was outed by Nathaniel Popper as being Satoshi Nakamoto. He is considered by most everyone to be Satoshi. He says he's not, and I believe him. But he created what is known as digital gold back in the 90s.
Oh, okay. The thing the feds raided or whatever?
No.
Because there were a couple attempts at digital gold that got raided by the government, and they stole all their gold, and then there was the Liberty Dollar.
This wasn't that. So this was a cryptocurrency. And then Adam Back is someone who
is a programmer,
but he's with Blockstream, and he was he's mentioned by Satoshi in the correspondence. He was on the email list. So the people that I'm referring to are all the.
So what are they saying? What are you saying about these people? We don't need the list of names.
So they are with Bitcoin Core, and
which is the sort of old legacy Bitcoin
Correct.
that is not really the same Bitcoin that it once was. It now has this
multiple soft
segregated
forks is what they're
witness and
saying.
all that stuff.
But you don't. But not all.
So what are they saying though? What about these people? What was your point going to be about them?
They're more conservative. The programmer people are, in general, I believe, more conservative, kind of the measure twice, cut once sort of mentality versus the fail hard, fail fast one that is typical of like entrepreneurial types.
Okay.
Now, some of the young guns, like Vitalik Buterin from Ethereum, and those guys are they're 30 years younger than Nick, and they're into like, let's go break it and see what we can do.
Now, Vitalik is the guy who's behind Ethereum, which is the number 2 cryptocurrency in the world right now.
Yes.
Right.
He's ETH. Then there's ETC. Or there's
these are different cryptos. Without going, we don't want to go too far into the weeds with altcoins because the controversy here is within Bitcoin. But Will, what was?
It's not really about big blocks or small blocks. It's about how you go about fork and consensus, and these are really a question of governance. So
the people can't get a consensus, it seems. I mean, the Bitcoiners have been fighting. Go ahead, Will.
That's why I am looking so closely into Dash, is that Dash has its own governance structure already written in there, and it's got used to it. Bitcoin can have all of the theory behind it in the world, but if it has no use, it has no value. That, at least to me. And looking at it right now, I mean, Bitcoin's in its bubble. It's climbing. It kind of seems like a bad time to invest. But if Dash is going to do a tenth of what Bitcoin does, or if they're going to,
Well, I would ask what you're investing in. I mean, are you investing in the ability to accumulate more USD? Are you investing in a disruptive technology that can, possibly compete with fiat? I'm interested in disruption. I was interested in Bitcoin when it was $1, $5 now. So for me, I'm buying into the disruption, and
But Bitcoin's
selling
not that
dollars.
anymore, right?
Well, it's multifaceted. It's multifaceted for me. The whole reason why I like Bitcoin is because it's a cryptocurrency. It's not fiat. It's the whole thing behind cryptocurrency is a great thing. But at the same time, I think all of us just kind of want to better our, position from our own perspectives.
You want a nicer couch.
Just at least before I spend too much time.
I used to have $30,000 sofas in my living rooms. Those are really expensive sofas. And guess what? The rats came in and infiltrated into the cushions and ate the cushions of my $30,000 Roche Bobois sofas. So all that stuff can be burned and what have you. If it ultimately does not gain you freedom and self-ownership, it doesn't really matter what kind of couch you're sitting on, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't think that
I guess I can understand that, but at the same time, it's I kind of expect the USD to take a dive. I mean, eventually, and I don't want to be along for that ride.
Well, you can count on the U.S. dollar to dive. I mean, that's all it does is it loses value over time because they're constantly printing it out. I didn't hear from him, Michele, that he just wants a bunch of stuff. He sounds like somebody who is interested in the technology, the decentralization, getting out of the banks, but maybe you're not so certain about the future of Bitcoin, Will. It sounds like you're looking at other options, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about that because, Michele, I agree with you. The disruption's what's important. Putting an end to the old money system, the centralized currencies, the banking systems, all the centralized power. Unfortunately, Bitcoin is no longer what it once was when you have to spend $5 to send a Bitcoin transaction. Bitcoin's broke.
Fireplaces and wood stoves are wonderful to have and provide low-cost heating, but they've got their drawbacks too. One of them is the increased likelihood that your home will burn. My primary advice is to you is to never let fire into your home and to make sure that you have an extinguisher on every floor and the garage, and that everyone knows how to use it. But if you love your wood stove, don't want to give it up, make sure that you keep things away from it and have a professional clean it every year. The pro will make sure the chimney is properly functioning also. Make sure to dispose of your ashes outside too.
you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio waves here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Michelle.
And don't forget to check out Melanie with her tax preparation services. If you want a real anarchist working on your taxes, somebody that wants to destroy the state, she can definitely help you out trying to, maximize the amount of money that you take back from them or don't pay to them in the first place. Isn't that right, Melanie?
Yeah. So anything that we can do to reduce your theft level, I guess. Whether you have a small business, there's more things we can work on, or if you have deductions you can take on your personal income return. They have the ACA coming up in, well, it's now through December 15th, if you want to see what your fine is going to be versus the premiums that don't cover anything anyway, we can do that. Or if you have a small business, we can figure out if there's something you can do before the end of the year. Other than that, then I do taxes starting in January.
So you've had individuals and people who have small businesses reach out to you so far.
Yeah, so it depends on what you have going on. If you're somebody who just has a W-2 and that's it, no medical, no
investments
charitable
or whatever.
deductions, no investments, then you really don't need to do that. But if you have other things going on, and especially with the small businesses, a lot of the time there's something they can either buy before the year ends or hold off till next year that'll help them kind of reduce that.
And if you want to get in touch with Melanie, the way to do that is through tax.freetalklive.com. That's tax, T-A-X, tax.freetalklive.com. They'll take you right over to her website where you can reach out directly and acquire her services. We've got Will on the line with us in Seattle, Washington. Will, you were calling in about Bitcoin, and you're looking at other alternatives because, as has been pointed out, there is a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen with Bitcoin coming up in the next few weeks. Some people believe that Bitcoin 1X is going to win out this fight. Others believe Bitcoin 2X is going to win. Others believe that Bitcoin Cash is going to throw in a Hail Mary and come in and somehow take over the claim to the Bitcoin throne. And it looks like an ugly, ugly situation. I don't know how anybody can pick a winner in all of this.
I'm so excited.
You're excited about the upcoming fork, or what?
Oh, I'm really excited about what because I think that what's going to happen is that we're going to see what for certain whether or not Bitcoin is truly sustainable.
Yeah,
as,
for sure.
You know, and if it carries on through this, then
that'll be a huge success story. If Bitcoin can survive this next fork, because when Bitcoin Cash forked back in August, it was like a minor thing compared to what the contentiousness of this upcoming fork is. But Will, you've been looking at...
Well, that's though because it's primarily like programmers versus CEOs. And so there's this idea of, the Bitcoin peer-to-peer digital cash versus the legacy banker types.
Unfortunately, all the rest of us are caught here in the middle of it because there really isn't anything else out there that really competes with Bitcoin. I mean, you can look at the top 10 and Bitcoin dominates the chart. If you go to coincap.io, for instance, or CoinMarketCap, you can see there's a list of the hundreds of cryptocurrencies out there, and the top 10 are probably the most noteworthy ones, and one of them is Dash. You were talking about that, Will. You liked that Dash has a governance structure set up so people can make decisions about the currency. And, that hasn't resulted yet in some major schism within the Dash movement. Maybe it will eventually if Dash becomes as popular as Bitcoin. That's I think the real concern with these other coins is that none of them have the network that Bitcoin has. None of them have the spread around the globe, the thousands of nodes. I mean, they just don't have the same level of support. They don't have the same level of success. So it's hard to really pick a winner. I think Dash has some smart things that it's doing, like having a marketing budget. It was probably one of the most brilliant things that they did with Dash, where 10% of the mining rewards goes into actually promoting the currency.
Well, Gavin Andreessen just came here.
Gavin came, what do you mean came here?
To Keene and introduced y'all to Bitcoin, and that was his marketing plan.
Well, Gavin, you're referring to one of the original programmers of Bitcoin, who, as I understand it, was ousted by some of the current programmers.
No, it's just that when he hadn't been submitting anything to any gets or anything commits for a while, apparently. But when he vouched for Craig Wright being Satoshi, using the computer that Craig's team had provided, et cetera, he lost a lot of credibility within the Bitcoin community.
Well, I had heard that they forced him out, so I don't know what the story is or what all the different sides say.
He'd already gone on to other projects and things.
Will, did you have anything else you wanted to share tonight on the subject? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Roger Vere's music video, Bitcoin All the Way Up, but it's hilarious.
No, I didn't even know Roger Ver was in a music video. I'll definitely have to take a look at that. And Will, thank you for the call tonight.
Can I ask, Will, I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you primarily interested in spending cryptocurrency, like having that be the currency that you use to do everything from buy coffee to buy services, or are you interested in buying it so that you can hold for the purpose of like future wealth?
I want it to crush the state. I would like cryptocurrency to crush the state. I don't know if that's going to be possible though with all these mining groups. You know what I mean? Like over in China, they got these giant mining pools, corporations buying up everything. So what's to say that there's not going to be a state that comes in and governs that corporation and forces corporations to mine various different whatever? And that's my ultimate concern with that. So I like Dash, but I've heard of other things that are like more decentralized and focused on the decentralization. I want it to smash the state.
Well, I used to think that smashing the state was that used to interest me too, but now I've done better over 40 years, mostly ignoring it and doing what I want to do, and having the level of my character be higher than anything that the state requires. And so I really think that self-sufficiency and independence and networking with your friends, family, neighbors, and community is the best way to ensure that you're going to have the most independence you can possibly have, has been my experience. Unless you are like a huge wheeler dealer and you're needing to travel outside the country all the time, and you have a lot of employees that are dependent on you, where you have to have a lot of paperwork and everything. I think being as healthy as you can mentally and emotionally and physically and as self-sufficient really is the way to just protect yourself.
I think it's good advice, but it's nice to have a currency that actually cuts the state out of the picture, right? So while doing all of those things, you still need to buy things. And so it makes sense to use a cryptocurrency because that ends the state's involvement in currency, which is a huge hit.
It doesn't support bombs.
It's a huge hit to their power. Right. So I think that's something that's simple that people can
currency of peace.
That doesn't require the state to go away. But if enough people ignore the state's currency, it diminishes their power significantly without actually having to go to war against them. Will, thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. But let's talk a little bit more about the Bitcoin controversy coming up here, because I said Bitcoin's broken. What do you say, Michelle? We'll come back.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free to bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can, of course, get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners over on the Free Talk Live forum. And Melanie, you and I are kind of co-admins over there, approving new members and welcoming them. And it's nice to no longer be the only people welcoming people on the forum. There's actually participation there now, and a lot of it, as a matter of fact. People are talking about the episodes of Free Talk Live after they happen. They are talking about the chronic callers. There's a really great thread that is probably the most fun thread on the forum at the moment, which is the Shrine of Chronic Callers. We've got one really talented listener of ours named Leah. She's an amplifier. She's come up with, I think, almost all the pictures on that thread right now. What are her kind of renditions, her artist renditions of what she believes that our chronic callers look like. And it's pretty funny stuff. So check it out for yourself over at forum.freetalklive.com. That's forum.freetalklive.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, you can bring up anything you want. It's David in San Francisco watching online or listening online. Go ahead, David.
Hey, howdy, Ian.
Hey.
Yeah, I hope I'm not one of your chronic callers.
Okay.
Wow.
No, I don't think so. Go ahead.
Yeah, chronic from the West Coast.
Chronic in the West Coast, though, is like all Snoop Dogg. That means you be getting high.
I cannot affirm or deny your position on that, my dear.
Fair enough, David. So go ahead with your thoughts tonight.
Well, I was going to raise the idea that, any money, an honest money especially, is something that everybody agrees on. They see it, they say, okay, that's worth some. When you had evil kings, though, that put their face on every coin, and you really didn't like to do a transaction, purported on the faith and trust of some evil king, that there's a certain patriotism to the money. Is America...
Render under Caesar what is Caesar's.
Right, and if Caesar's a jerk, do you really want to use that kind of money? And that's been before the International Monetary Fund, before World War II, everything was that way. It's only been in the last, since the IMF was created, that there was at least an attempt to find honest money that the world could put their basis on.
And what was that?
The United States was.
What was the attempt?
Are you talking about having it pegged to silver, gold kind of thing, or?
Well, there's a book that describes it real well. There's a series of books called The Making of the President series, and it was by a guy named T.H. White. And if you read the one for 1972, that's when Nixon emptied Fort Knox out of gold, and the world's currency
and took coin off silver.
Right, and it describes how the U.S. dollar, though, was pegged to gold after World War II, but the IMF before, like I was saying, the world's currencies used to be based upon the reputations of each country. If they had an evil dictator running the show or it was a pretty decent place, the value of that money was based upon the stability of transactions, business being run honestly and effectively from Italy to France to Germany to Spain, was based upon the reputation of each nation. Well, after World War II, Franklin Roosevelt had tried to create the ability for an honest, stable currency that all of the little countries, if you had Botswana and you had, Brazil and all these different places trying to trade with the world, but their currencies were always being manipulated by the Chicago Board of Trade or by London, mercantile.
Usually it's the central banks that are manipulating the currencies in these countries, and to act as though the IMF is somehow something different than just a group of all the central banks in the world. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
It's become that, but in the very beginning, the IMF and then the World Bank were considered honest attempts to fight those guys.
Well, that was
over the course
really
of 50, 75 years,
wrong consideration because the World Bank has always been a central bank.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing honest when it comes to David. There's nothing honest about centralized currencies. I mean, they historically.
But that's not what the IMF was saying. In other words, the United States after World War II came out to be the most honest country, and it was allowed.
It came out to be the country with the most bombs.
Well, I agree in many ways, but at the same time, after World War II, London did not look out clean. Paris looked like a bunch of Vichy. You couldn't trust any of the countries' world currency. And when the United States was considered honest, it was the IMF that said that all the world's currencies would be based on the U.S. dollar. So if you went from London to Paris, you still put your pounds to dollars to francs.
It sounds like a terrible organization, a terrible idea. In fact, if you look at
it took the bad players out.
Its founding, one of the bad players was there for the founding, David. I mean, the one of the players that founded the IMF, according to Wikipedia, is John Maynard Keynes. I mean, this is the guy that Keynesian economics is based on, which is just a load of crap, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, not everything Keynes. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and every economist is able to see some part of the elephant.
These are people who believe in inflation, right? The Keynesians, they believe in inflation. They think that it's necessary, that the governments, the central banks have to just keep on printing money.
Well, that's how the IMF changed the way America dealt with the dollar. Because if we were seen, for a certain amount of decades dealing with that honestly, and then after World War II, all of a sudden they did a fast turnover.
Well, yeah, but you're leaving out all the debt crisis and how then it became the petrodollar. Like you're skipping a lot of steps.
David, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I mean, it just sounds like kind of pie in the sky, rose-colored glasses about this organization, the IMF, which, as according to Wikipedia, is an international organization of 189 countries, supposedly fostering global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitation of international trade, and to promote high employment and sustainable economic growth and reduce poverty around the world. I mean, that sounds great, but when you take a bunch of banks and a bunch of governments basically, and you form another overarching organization over all of those things, you're centralizing power. You're centralizing control. And we've heard, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, I think. People have called about that book where this guy says he was working for the IMF and that he would go in and the IMF would loan money to these smaller countries around the world. And then, of course, when they defaulted on those loans, they'd come in there and basically, put their people in power as a result of that. So I've never heard anything good about the IMF. I just don't buy the idea that any kind of centralization
It's created up here in Bretton Woods.
In New Hampshire, right? Some sort of secret meeting of banker types, just like with the Federal Reserve, where a bunch of bankers met at a secret location and
like on Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah, created the Federal Jekyll Island, I think was that one, and they created the Federal Reserve, which of course has been one of the biggest tools of oppression that has ever existed in the United States, and that's because the Federal Reserve basically will back up the federal government at any moment's notice. Whatever it is the federal government wants to do.
Well, sure, there are the henchmen that are, making sure that the Federal Reserve, private banking people, because it's not a government agency. People think the Federal Reserve is a government agency.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. In my opinion, it's the real governments. They actually, on their Facebook page, which they probably have shut down by now, claim to be a government agency.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Well, there is.
I have screenshots of that somewhere. I don't know if their page is still up. It got trolled to death.
Is it one of their people appointed by the president?
I'm a goddess.
Yeah,
I'm a princess. I'm queen.
Yeah, I mean they're appointed by the president.
Right.
So I mean I don't see how this isn't. They print the currency.
Yeah,
like
it's
how
pretty
is it not?
governmenty.
How are the people who print FRNs not the government?
Well, we can come back with more here and share. You can share your thoughts as well.
That's the conspiracy.
This is Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Attention type 2 diabetics. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has warned that Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR and other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes cause an increased role in amputations of the toes, feet, and legs. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-475-7607. That's 800-475-7607. Again, 800-475-7607. Call now. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. www.injuryhelpdesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy. So it's like, and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful, all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us here on the radio, bring up anything that's on your mind. Even in these remaining moments, we might have enough time for you if you dial in now. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Michelle.
We're going to continue with your calls and thoughts. But first, Michelle, you reminded me, thankfully, that you are now an authoress or an author.
Author.
So,
a published author.
You have written a book. It has been published. You're writing your second book already.
In the series, yes.
And so it's a fiction series.
It is.
It's called CC Me.
CC Me is the name of the first book.
Like the letters C and C, and then me.
Mm-hmm. And it's so it's a triple entendre. Woo! Means 3 different things.
Oh.
One is a hat tip to Neil Stephenson, who wrote Snow Crash.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's familiar with that.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So the me of something was the true essence. So this is like talking about the true essence of cryptocurrency. That's one of the meanings behind it. But in any case, the series is a science fiction series, but I had to choose a genre relating to the first book, and there really isn't any insight into it being about time travel and AI. Spoiler. In the first book, which is about a young girl who is traveling from Oregon to Boston, where she's going to be attending MIT to study distributed systems, when she meets these cast of characters on the train ride that give her insight into her mother, who died a year and a half prior.
When does this take place?
In August 2013.
Oh, in the past. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just before Ross Ulbricht was arrested.
The Silk Road creator. All right.
Yes. So this young woman discovers, things about her mom that she didn't know to be. And so there are lots of themes within the book, but it's definitely a story of crypto anarchy for sure.
Cool. And has it gotten a lot of, positive comments so far? Is it available on Amazon?
It's available on Amazon. There are only 12 reviews. It's hard to get people to do reviews. Yeah,
it is hard.
But
that's a lot for a new book.
It had really nice reviews.
And how long has it been available?
Since April, I guess it is. Yeah. And then I did a limited edition prior to that where I only sold 40 of them, and I did mostly for Bitcoin, actually. So that was super fun.
Hey, right on.
Yeah. I had someone pay me 4 Bitcoin.
What?
For
a signed copy of the book?
No, he didn't even get a signed copy. He's like,
give that man a signed copy.
Right. He's like, I just really support, I've been following you on Free Talk Live and then through as Bitcoin Bell. And he's like, I just don't think that you get enough rewards for your efforts. So
that's sweet.
That was really nice, wasn't it? Yeah. So, Bitcoin is a mixed bag of people. I really have met the best and the worst of people within that community. Mm-hmm.
So, CC Me. And
CC
what's
Me.
the second book going to be called? Do you have a title for that yet?
Pivots.
Pivots. Spell that one.
Pivots.
Okay.
Like when you pivot and you fork. Mm-hmm.
CC Me, available through Amazon, and you're not the author. It's Bitcoin Belle.
I know.
Your alternative
my
personality.
alter ego. And she, if you ever saw Bitcoin Belle on Twitter, like, she was crazy. Like, it's like Michele 7 without a filter.
No filter. You have a filter?
Woo!
Oh, my.
Right? So, yeah, but Twitter, back a few months ago, suspended my account indefinitely.
Is the CC Me available in physical and digital form, or physical only? Or?
It's physical right now, and then I'm revamping my michele7.com website.
Oh, good.
Which, and I'm going to be I'm doing an audio version with my own voice.
Yay.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun, especially reading the prologue because it's all sexy. I'm probably going to be blushing the whole time. Her nipples poking through, oh my gosh.
Can't say much more than that on
no,
the
can't.
radio.
Can't. But so, and then I'll have like a digital copy via Mobi or something like that on there.
Cool.
But Amazon takes a pretty hefty.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
They broke up with us last month. Yeah, we can't. So if people buy it on Amazon, we can't make anything off of it anymore. But oh well, things change.
Are they just dismantling their affiliate program or something?
I don't know. I don't know. Mark's theory is that they wanted to cut out, the successful affiliates because they figured they'd still have people go and buy stuff from them with or without them. So anyway, check out CC Me by Bitcoin Belle. It's available at Amazon.com.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, thanks for coming in here tonight. We got enough time for Sarah. She's on the line in New Mexico. Sarah, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I ran into 25 people that were just completely clueless that we have any of the polling places open. So we now have 5 election day left, and I'm thinking they might vote because I told them about it.
You're saying that there are 5 days where you can vote remaining in New Mexico?
Right, on the runoff. And everybody's like, what election? Where's the place? And they're like, what?
That's because people don't pay attention to things that aren't important to them. I mean, this comes back around.
You don't watch the news.
Right. This comes back around to something that, we talked about earlier here tonight. Sarah, you believe that the local municipal elections are very, very important. You've called before about them here on Free Talk Live. But most people, and you're always disappointed in people because they're either unaware that an election is going on, or even if you make them aware of it, they don't really care about it because they don't know who's running. They don't know what the issues are. And that's because people are busy with their own lives. They've got a lot going on. They've got, businesses to attend to. They have kids to take care of. They've got a house to fix. I mean, there's all kinds of things that, people in real life have to deal with. You don't because you're on welfare. So, you don't really know what it's like to do a lot of those things, right?
Well, I'm the only nut that runs around all day long telling people to call 311. The 12 polling places are open. Because, like you said, most people, they're just like, what? They're like, who cares?
I don't know how you would know that you're the only one. I mean, it's a pretty big place. But also, if people aren't paying attention to even know when the election is, do you really want them voting in that election?
Right. They're uninformed, Sarah.
Well, I mean, what choice is there today? There's 2 people running. You fill out one bubble. The polling place has been open since the 25th.
Yeah, but you didn't answer Melanie's question. She was asking you, if you want people to vote, do you want ignorant people to go and vote, or do you want people to be informed about their choices before they vote?
Well, the thing about it is that there's only ignorant people in Albuquerque. That's the only thing we have.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. So, Michele, let's change gears back to the question of Bitcoin being broken, because I said we were going to give you a chance to respond. Because I said, if I got to spend $5 to buy a $1 drink at Corner News, it's not going to happen. The Bitcoin fees are out of control right now, and I don't know if this upcoming fork is going to fix it or not. I have no idea. Some people believe it is. Some people say it's Bitcoin's going to die. Some people say it's going to survive this. What do you think? Is Bitcoin broken?
I do not think Bitcoin is broken. However, I also do not believe that we have done enough to create infrastructure so that it can be usable for things like cups of coffee. And, I've been living...
It used to be, though.
I've been... Okay, but we have not developed. We've been growing it vertically without growing outwards. So I want to see two things happen before it is this mass adoption that so many people that are supporting like BitCash are claiming needs to happen in order for it to take over the world.
You mean Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah. I want to see closed loop. So that means like I want to see people earning Bitcoin and then crypto and then using it so that there's a.
We have that in New Hampshire.
Right. I like that.
Yep.
And I think that needs to.
But we can't use it anymore. So like people can earn the Bitcoin, but they can't use it because of the fees. Like the people in this town, in Keene, who are fanatics, like me and Daryl and Chris and like some of the people here who are like big time Bitcoin advocates, it's getting harder and harder for us to advocate for it because as soon as somebody sees what the fees are, they're not going to use it. So Bitcoin is not useful right now.
I would agree that if what you want to do is buy a cup of coffee for $2, that if that's what the
or even a whole meal. I mean, a $3 fee to buy a $15 hamburger and fries and a drink or whatever at Local Burger, for most people that's going to be a turnoff. Why would you spend $3 to spend $15 when you could spend a lot less by just handing over cash or a credit card?
What does that cash or credit cards cost?
Well, not as much as $3.50.
It costs a lot more than that. I would argue that it costs a lot more than that. So
yeah, but that's not going to convince the average person.
Right, but we don't feel those costs because they're so far removed from
You're
us.
talking about the fact that they support the banking system.
1 cent of every tax dollar collected in this country goes to pay for the bank bailout, and the bank's already paid back that debt. So, I mean, it's absurd. So either you want to be involved in it from a disruptive position, or you're
How's
comparing
it going to disrupt anything if people don't want to use it?
If you're comparing it to dollars, then probably not.
People don't want to use something, it's not going to disrupt anything. So it's got, I think, a rocky road ahead of it here this month. It's going to be interesting to watch it. I would love to have you call in.
I'm a hodler.
I would love to have you talk more about this with us, Michelle, in the future, but we're out of time for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
It was fun.
Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, November 6th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.90 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,272 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,422. Antiwar.com reports Saudi Arabia has had a few royal shakeups in the past year, setting the stage for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's ultimate ascension to the throne. The purge, however, is mounting with a stunning number of arrests over the weekend. In what the state media is describing as a corruption probe, the Saudis have arrested a massive number of high-ranking officials, including 11 princes, 4 cabinet ministers, and dozens of other members of the royal family. Being arrested as a random criminal in Saudi Arabia isn't exactly the same thing as being a detained royal. Instead of prison, the royals and top officials are being held in luxury hotels around the capital of Riyadh, with Riyadh's Ritz-Carlton being emptied to serve as a prison for royal family members. Among the detained are Prince Michele bin Abdullah, who was once seen as a contender for the crown, and the head of the National Guard. Multi-billionaire Alawid bin Talal was also detained, as are many of Mohammed bin Salman's relatives, who were seen as potential threats to him when he becomes king. It's expected that there will be more arrests coming, as in addition to the arrests, the Saudis have closed the airport for private planes, preventing the wealthy and powerful from escaping the country for the time being. Mohammed bin Salman was named Crown Prince in June. The shakeup was widely expected, with the previous Crown Prince in failing health. King Salman's own health has been in question for years, and the transition to the next generation of royals is seen as a very destabilizing event. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a man scheduled to be executed later this week in Arkansas said in his will that he wants his head to be removed from his body so a doctor can study his brain. Jack Green said he believes injuries caused by the Arkansas Department of Corrections has led to severe dementia and mental illness. He thinks a medical examination of his brain will prove his allegations. He wrote in his will, "I direct that upon my death through execution by the state of Arkansas, my head shall be surgically removed from my body and transported out of state to an independent medical examiner such as Dr. Jan Garavaglia and producers of her television program on the Justice Network. Dr. Garavaglia hosts a reality show in which she investigates unexplained deaths." Green's lawyer, John Williams, told NBC News on Friday, "This is something he really insisted that he dictate to me and to write down. He wants to prove all the injuries that he believes have been committed against him." Green is scheduled to be executed Thursday after an Arkansas circuit judge on Friday dismissed a lawsuit seeking to stop it. Williams, who said Green is not mentally competent for execution, said he appealed to the Arkansas Supreme Court. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson said numerous courts have reviewed the case, and I am satisfied that the Supreme Court standards have been met and that he is competent to be executed. As normal, I will continue to review any additional relevant facts as November 9th approaches. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports a gunman dressed in black tactical gear massacred at least 26 worshippers and wounded 20 others